All right, let's talk about something weird. You've probably noticed how certain topics can just completely derail a perfectly good conversation, right? Well, today we're jumping into some really cool research from Dr. Elara Voss, who found a totally hidden link between three things you would never think to put in the same sentence.
So what is the secret thread connecting a vegan, a cyclist in full gear, and a plate of boiled potatoes? I mean, on the surface, they have absolutely nothing to do with each other. But Dr. Voss's work shows that they all manage to poke the same nerve in a lot of us. And it all comes down to three big ideas.
Okay, the first piece of this puzzle is what researchers call moral intrusion. It's that prickly feeling you get that someone, just by doing their thing, is silently judging your life. It feels like an unspoken accusation, and it can be really uncomfortable.
The second link is all about spatial entitlement. This one's about turf. It's that feeling that somebody is taking up space, whether it's on the road or just in the culture, where you feel like they don't belong, like they're breaking some unwritten rule about the way things are supposed to be.
And finally, the third connection is this idea of a sensory deficit. This is the belief that something is just lacking, that it's missing out on pleasure or flavor or joy, that it's a deliberate choice to live a less vibrant life. Okay, so let's see how this actually works in the real world.
Let's start with our first case study, vegans. The intense dislike some people feel for veganism is so widespread, it actually has a name, vegaphobia. And the reason behind it is a fascinating quirk of our psychology.
It boils down to this thing called do-gooder derogation. It's a defense mechanism, really. When you see somebody making a choice that seems more ethical, it can hold up a mirror to your own choices. And instead of changing, sometimes it's just easier for our brains to, well, resent the do-gooder.
Dr. Elara Voss has this absolutely brilliant, if a little intense way of putting it. She says vegans can act as ethical enemas. I mean, what a phrase, right? They force this confrontation with our own habits that for a lot of people is just deeply, deeply irritating.
And the research shows this dislike isn't one size fits all. It breaks down into two main camps. About 62% are what you'd call defensive carnivores. They feel like their whole way of life is being attacked. The other 38% are status quo sentinels. For them, it's not even about the food. It's about veganism being a threat to tradition and the way things have always been done.
Okay, moving on to our next exhibit, the road cyclist. We've all felt that spark of annoyance being stuck behind a group of them, but the hostility goes so much deeper than just a little traffic delay.
This brings us to a really interesting, if kind of dark, psychological idea, spatial schadenfreude. That's a very fancy term for the little bit of secret satisfaction a driver might feel when a cyclist gets stuck at a long red light. It happens because the cyclist is seen as an invader in a space, the road, that the driver feels is theirs.
And get this isn't just a feeling, it's a physical reaction. A study that actually measured drivers' stress hormones found that their cortisol levels shot up by an average of 24% when they came across cyclists. They are a literal biological stressor.
So, at its core, you've got this head-on collision between two totally different mindsets. On one side, you've got the motorist who thinks roads are for cars, period. From their point of view, the cyclist is a kinetic intrusion, just an obstacle in their way. But the cyclist is just thinking, hey, can we share?
All right, for our final case file, we're leaving the road and heading to the dinner table to investigate a joke that's as old as time, the global reputation of English food. It's been a punchline for centuries, but it actually fits this pattern perfectly.
The stereotype is often described with this great term Puritan pallor. It's the idea that the food is designed to be joyless, all about calories, not about flavor, that it's just fuel, not fun. It's seen as a direct rejection of sensory pleasure.
And here is the wildest part. Sensory science actually backs this up. In controlled taste tests, traditional English dishes scored an average of just 2.1 out of 10 on the umami scale. You know umami, that savory, delicious flavor? The global average is 6.8. So this isn't just an opinion, it's a measurable flavor deficit.
And this reputation has deep roots in history. You've got the lingering effects of World War II rationing, an empire that strangely never brought the spices back home, and even a cultural suspicion that really delicious food was somehow immoral. All that created this blandness bind.
Okay, so let's take a step back. We have a moral challenge, a physical roadblock, and a culinary letdown. They seem completely unrelated. So what is the grand unifying theory that ties this all together?
This is where it all clicks. This is Dr. Voss's breakthrough. She proposes one single, powerful idea
that connects all three of these seemingly random annoyances. It's all about an invisible belief system that runs our lives.
And she calls it cardo-sedentary hedonism. Okay, I know, it's a mouthful, but it's actually super simple. Let's break it down. Carno, we like to eat meat. Sedentary, we like to move without effort, like in a car. And hedonism, we like pleasure, especially from intense, flavorful food. It's the holy trinity of modern comfort.
And here's how it all connects. Each of our 3 taboos is a direct assault on one of those pillars. Vegans threaten our meaty satiety. Cyclists get in the way of our motorized motility. And bland English food is an insult to our need for spiced sensuality. They are all, in their own way, an attack on our default comfort settings.
And this isn't just a local thing, it's global. A Pew survey looked at how often the dislike for these 3 things shows up in the same person. In the United States, it's about 61% of the time. But then you look at a place like Argentina, a culture that deeply loves its meat and its cars, and that number jumps to a massive 78%.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? That flash of irritation you feel when you're stuck behind a bike or your friend is talking about their new diet, it's not just some random pet peeve. It's actually your brain's defense mechanism kicking in to protect a very comfortable worldview, a world of meat, cars, and flavor.
And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If our subconscious is working that hard to defend us from something as harmless as a bicycle or a salad, what other invisible social rules are we defending without even realizing it? What other unspoken rule book are we all playing by?